Wire, first one in the house. What's going on, brother? Ollie Ollie Oxenfree. How are things in the Great White North up in Canada? Good to see you, man. All right, and I've got Facebook going live as well. Good to see you, Michelle, coming in number two. No shame in number two. Good job. You guys are on it. Damn. You snooze, you lose, and all that. What's going on, Michelle? What's going on, Wirehead? Good to see you guys. Hey, Tammy, over on Facebook. Good to see you, honey. How are you? Mike Barry's in the house. Mary Ann coming in, my neighbor in Pickens, South Carolina. Tamara coming in from Georgia. Stacy is in the house. Hey, Stacy, good to see you. Jason, buddy, how are you? Good to see you, Kristen. Hey, there's my friend Michelle. How are you, Michelle? Good to see you, Rhoda, Carol, Kevin. Tammy, are you on both sides of the house? Lieben, how are you? Or Lieben. I never quite know how to say your name, so I always try to, but I think it's Lieben or Lieben. Either way, good to see you. Good to see you, Allison Brown, Kava. Maureen, how are you? Lawrence, what's up? Melinda. You guys will see me do this to this and back to this. And I've got YouTube going over here. And I've got Facebook over here. And trying to do both. Thank you. So I went to a event for autism awareness this week. And this is one of the shirts that they had. And a lot of people have been asking me, they saw the post about it, asking if my family has been directly impacted by autism. And Stacy, how are you? Happy birthday. To be honest, as far as I know, it hasn't. But we have friends whose family, and 1 in 36 families are impacted by autism. So a lot of us, whether we know it or not, probably are. Cindy says, my son is autistic. It's very common. And one of the reasons why I wanted to raise awareness is I started making some videos. And some of those videos talked about silly things that aren't so silly, making fun of a little bit of the fact that, like, nobody had allergies when we were growing up. Nobody, seemed to worry about us bringing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich into the cafeteria when we were growing up. Nobody confiscated the brownies that we brought in for our birthdays when we were growing up. And sometimes those jokes, which are well-intended, forget the fact that people honestly did have allergies back then. It's that the world didn't really care about it. And then that joke kind of spread and it became mean-hearted for some people. And some conversations started centering around why all of a sudden has there been an explosion of things like people being found. And it hasn't. I wanted people to understand that autism is probably something that's always been with us. Probably very much in the numbers we have today, it wasn't diagnosed. Because when we were growing up, at least when I was growing up, we had a room. We had one room that was for special education kids. And whether they were slow, developmentally challenged, whether they were, in terms of the diagnosis back then, truly mentally retarded, whether they had autism, they all went in one room. And we just, I think the numbers have always been there. I think there's an awareness around it today. I think we realize that it is literally a spectrum and that some kids are highly functioning and some are less highly functioning, that they're neurodivergent, that they think differently, that they process differently. And I just, a lot of people ask me, is your daughter autistic? Do you have a child? And the answer is no, but if I have any platform whatsoever from time to time, I'm really going to try to use that platform to help spread some awareness. Happy 52nd birthday, again. And everybody's brain works differently. I was diagnosed very late in life accidentally with ADHD. No, my daughter isn't autistic, Dr. Ketchup, to my point, but I went to an autistic awareness event, and because of it, people made some assumptions, and no big deal. But no, I'm doing it because I think it's something that needs some spotlight, and I'm happy to share whatever platform I have to help lend some help to the cause. So there's that, and that's what the shirt is for today. Dyslexia, ADHD, Asperger's, a lot of other versions of neurodivergent, and I'm neurodivergent. I got diagnosed very late in life with ADHD. I didn't realize that I'd had it until one of my daughters was diagnosed, and the doctor assumed that I knew. And after spending some time with our family, he made a comment like, well, listen, if you want to learn, speaking to my daughter, about how you can cope with it and some of these ADHD superpowers that you may, there's some benefit to it. There are some plus sides. He goes, talk to your father. And I'm like, why would she talk to me about it? And he's like, well, because you have ADHD. And it was news to me at the time. Spending 15 minutes with me. Goonie Andrews in the house. Joseph, hello. We'll probably see it on me. I'm kind of, all over the board. At any rate, how was everybody's week? I hope everybody had an awesome week. We got a lot to talk about this week. My friend Michelle, you wish you were Gen X. Excuse me as I choke on coffee. Underwood was just in the room, and it reminded me of a show and a podcast and content that she does that is This Week in Gen X History. And this was a huge, hey Rhoda, good to see you over here now. This was a huge week in Gen X history. Who knows what happened way back, I think it was in 1984. 81? Oh, there you are, Shell. Shell, when did MTV debut? Can you let us know? I know it was August 2nd. 1984, 82, 84, 40 something years ago, 81. All right, August 1st, 1981. So MTV is just one of the many things that Generation X is older than, because the youngest Gen Xer was born in 1980. So on top of being older than Google, on top of being older than a VCR, on top of being older than CDs, we are also older than MTV. Is this a trivia question this week? Hey, Laura, how are you, honey? But I mean, seriously, how could we not talk about MTV on our wonderful world of Gen X? Because it's over 40 years ago that it first started. And to Kevin's point, first song, video killed a radio star. I actually did a video where I showed the first 10 songs. And I got to be honest with you, of the first 10 songs that played on MTV, one after the other, I didn't know them all. There was a Rod Stewart song that I'm not familiar with, that he throws the F-bomb, and somehow that was okay to show live on MTV. There was a Pat Benatar song. As much as I like Pat Benatar, I didn't know that song. And there were a couple of other ones, but number 9 and 10 of the songs was REO Speedwagon, which I love, and then Styx Paradise Theater, which also I loved. MTV left with Kodachrome. Val, I'm not sure what you mean there. Hey, Deb, how are you, hon? Good to see you. I love that Rod Stewart song. I was shocked when I heard it, Shell. I'm like, did he just say fuck on MTV? And apparently he did. And it was okay. And technically it's cable television, so I guess it's all right. Chris Mercurio brings up the point that MTV is all about reality shows now. No more videos. Lisa, thank you for that. I love it. I grew up in the glory days of MTV. We all did. One of the names, so back in 1981, we weren't really officially called Gen X yet. That came a little later. Generation X was something that got put on us a little bit after the fact. Back in 1981, they were still calling us the 20-something generation or the 13th generation, the slacker generation. And some started saying the MTV generation, because as much as anything else, MTV helped form our ideas about pop culture in the world. We got our news from MTV. MTV News and the news breaks that came out, I think it was 8 on the hour every hour, or on the 9s. That's where I got my news. MTV encouraged me to vote for the first time with Madonna and with the major Get Out the Vote campaign that was Rock the Vote. To Jason's channel, Jason's point, he says, kids today don't know how cool MTV was. It was the epitome of cool. It told us what cool was. It exposed us not only to music, but to artists and to video and to new ways of looking at things. In minutes, YouTube just announced that I'm live. I thought I'd been live for 10 minutes, so hopefully it's still going well. That was strange to see that kick out. Let me know if there's any problem with you guys watching on YouTube. It just gave me a big splashy thing telling me I am now live, but I thought I'd been live. Good on that end? Okay. 120 minutes, alternative music, Yo MTV Raps. completely different genre of music than I was used to. Headbangers Ball. They exposed all of us to all these different types of music. And I got to tell you, for me, it taught me a lot about music because I was very much a popular music kind of person initially. I listened to 98 PXY in Rochester, New York, or 98.5 Kiss FM in Buffalo, and it was just the top 40 stuff. MTV really exposed me to different types of music. Wirehead said Headbangers Ball for himself. Now, Wire's coming in from Canada, who's got like the redheaded stepsister, redheaded stepson, redheaded stepchild of MTV, which was known as Much Music. Michelle McDaniel says, Yo MTV Raps wasn't allowed in my house. Nobody was really there to watch what I was watching. Had an alert from YouTube about 10 minutes ago. That's good. Yeah, Much Music was what I would watch in Toronto when I was visiting my cousins there. Z100 in NYC. Loved Headbangers Ball. Still am and was a rocker chick. MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour introduced me to John Panette. MTV is where I first met Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart had one of the first television shows that MTV created, and it basically was this idea that you would send him a video, and he would play your video on his television show. The first time I ever saw him was there. They had TV shows that were worth watching. There was, the usual stuff where it was about music, like the acoustic stuff, which was awesome. But there was also reality television. And I got to tell you guys, this may be unpopular. I liked the first couple seasons of Real World. Somebody mentioned Remote Control. Yeah, absolutely. A game show on MTV. And again, it was a little bit about music, so it still fit the genre. David Collins brings up what I hate, but Beavis and Butthead, Liquid Television, was that what that was called? The cartoons with Liquid TV. Daria. So even the TV was good. And Real World, getting back to my point there, although responsible for the crap that followed, was groundbreaking reality television that really let us see ourselves on television because especially that first season or two, everybody saw somebody they recognized out of those casts. And it was real, and it wasn't scripted, and it wasn't even strongly produced. Today, a lot of our reality TV is very strongly produced. Yes, it's real, but there are producers pushing things in a certain direction. What was the last name of the comedian named Dennis? There was Dennis Leary. I don't think that's who you mean, though. Dark-haired Dennis. Max Headroom, yes. I do remember Yahoo Serious. I don't watch it. Dennis Miller was the one she was probably thinking of. I agree. It's probably him. Puck was disgusting and hilarious. Absolutely true. Dennis Miller. And Flux did rock. I love that. Reality TV is scripted. My cousin is written for them. Well, even Jan, where it's not scripted, it's strongly suggested. Producers really are great at manipulating the reality people into doing what they need to do at the least of it. On the other end of the spectrum, yes, it's probably scripts, and it's kind of like WWF wrestling used to be for us. Don Henley, Glenn Fry videos. I remember when Saturday Night Live was funny. I hated the song video. I love my MTV and grew to love it. Puck was the show. It was controversy. It was exciting. It was amazing. It was different. Pinky in the Brain. What about Randy? I don't know who Randy is, Mike Howell. Yep, Pinky in the Brain. TRL. I see somebody wrote URL. I think probably meant TRL, and it got corrected. But TRL was pretty cool. It was like a video, hipper, cooler, younger version of what we grew up listening to on the radio with Casey Kasem. Downtown Julie Brown. I actually met her in Buffalo. She would come to Buffalo from time to time and hang out in Jim Kelly's bar that I worked at. Very cool lady. Going to see Duran Duran. Can't wait. That's got to be a lot of fun. We just had Limp Bizkit come to town. I just couldn't get away to see them. And of all the people in the world to open for Limp Bizkit here, it was Corey Feldman. So it would have been fun to go. Levon says drugs were better back then. I had Greek immigrant parents that swore to God that if the drugs didn't kill me, they would. So I stayed away. I couldn't afford to go back. Spring break, Joseph mentioned spring break. One of my first spring breaks was determined by where MTV was going to be. They used to go out to Daytona. They would go out to Panama City, and they would do Beauty on the Beach, and they would host their videos and TRL and their shows actually on the beach with all of us kids that were spring breakers being right there with them. And now Florida's got like a war on spring break because the kids are destructive and it's bad for the town. And I get all that. But got to tell you, it's one of my favorite memories as like a 21-year-old young guy was going on spring break and being able to watch MTV live. It was really cool. Now, some of those shows wouldn't fly today. It was basically a frat party on television. But at the time, it was pretty cool. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, MTV being just that, music television, what videos do you guys remember really cementing the concept of music video in your heads? Because we are a generation that when we hear certain songs, we don't just think of the song, we see the video. Generations before us, they didn't do that, and generations after us certainly didn't do that. Killa Smooth says Thriller. Awesome. Jennifer says Take on Me. I'm sure we'll see that again. Bev with Hungry Like the Wolf. I agree. Money for Nothing was a huge one for me. Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Van Halen, Jump. Four Non Blondes. Bon Jovi's Bad Name. Guns N' Roses. Holy moly, you guys are flying now. Money for Nothing was a huge, huge, huge one. Sledgehammer, Michelle. Absolutely incredibly huge. And there were a couple of them that were groundbreaking like that, where they did something different. Sledgehammer used new technology. Aha's Take on Me used new technology that was tailor-made to go nuts on MTV. Videos like Thriller. I think the original Thriller video, the whole thing that premiered, was like 9 or 11 minutes long. It was forever long. They became mini movies. And we were there for it. Sound Hungry Like the Wolf, Faith and Gotta Have Sex. Both huge videos. Girls Just Want to Have Fun used that wrestler in it. And that's the other thing. These music videos had actual pop culture icons that wanted to cross over in order to be in on the video. It was really cool that you never really knew who you were going to see on a music video. Somebody said Robert Palmer, Simply Irresistible. You know, I didn't realize until this week that Robert Palmer passed away like 20-something years ago. I had no idea. He died very young. He was in his 50s. Phil Collins' Land of Confusion, using that claymation. Big time one that I remember. Cher's Turn Back Time. Dave Collins, agreed. Christine Bailey with Like a Virgin. Like a Virgin, I remember the video less, and the fact that she premiered it on the MTV Music Awards. And I can still see, if I say to you guys, Madonna, Like a Virgin, MTV Music Video Awards, I gotta guess that some large percentage of you have the image in your mind of Madonna in that wedding dress crawling around on stage. We all instantly see that. Care Bears Lovers asking me, what do I want to do with my life? Oh, that's Captain Lou. I gotcha. Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire. Yeah, Marianne, the wedding dress. It was that moment. You're not looking at us, you're looking down. Trying to look at you. I also have YouTube over here. So if I'm talking to YouTube, I will be over on this side. Be the Change, is that political? No, this is actually autism awareness. Although you can be the change in politics as well, no matter what side you vote for, it's on you. There's a reason that voting booths have curtains or doors. Do it in private. His videos of his concerts on Facebook. That's pretty cool. Chris Isaacs flew him. I can see it in my hand. And then that was one of them, I think, that did the whole black and white thing. So there was a return to like black and white video that became really, really a thing for a while. Today, kids are all about like the TikTok trends. Well, MTV had video trends. And different things would happen from time to time where they'd be really popular. And there were a lot of movies that videos that were shot in black and white for a while. That became a trend. A lot of them used animation for a while. That became a trend. Bringing in movie stars and TV stars. That's what MTV did for us. And it taught us what our language was, because we saw these people getting on TRL. We saw, Kurt Loder talking to us. We saw Brian McFadden. We saw all these people then bring on people we'd only hear fleetingly, right? When they were at award ceremonies. Now, all of a sudden, John Bon Jovi would just drop in on the studios and we could hear them talk, and they used a certain vernacular. And we took those words. MTV was our social media. We couldn't talk to each other directly back in the 80s and the 90s. So we talked to each other through MTV, through the videos we watched that we requested, through the videos we recorded. Because I gotta tell you, for me, it was a cool thing to record videos. I would record hours of MTV just to try to catch a certain video. And once I had it, I would save it and I would share that with my friends. It was kind of like a VHS version of a mixtape. Some videos you never got to see. Burns Sisters, I wonder who's out tonight. I don't remember that. Oingo Boingo, I do remember that. Hey, Jeremy Sellers, good to see you. Airband, skating rinks. We did airband contests at school dances when I was a kid. Remember when MTV played music? That's exactly what we're talking about. MTV Unplugged, Nirvana specifically, to your point, was huge. And it required talent. If you were going to be on MTV Unplugged, you better be good, because they were going to pull the plug on you. And we could hear what it sounded like when you played, and we could hear what your voice sounded like totally raw and unplugged. Iron Maiden, Bat Dance, Unplugged was awesome. I agree, Lori. Great eyes, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Purple Rain. Pearl Jam's Porch. Caught a live stream. Yeah, you did. And I was talking to somebody at the bar today, and a lot of the conversations you guys have with me here on these lives and a lot of the videos that I do are taken from conversations I have with people at the bar. And we were talking about how eclectic our taste in music is. And I always credit that to radio, because we listened to whatever was on the radio. If we had a long car ride with our parents and they just threw it on pop radio, right? It was just on the FM dial. If a song came on, and I always use like Islands in the Stream, if that came on and Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton started singing, or an Eddie Rabbitt song, I'd be like, Mom, can you change the station? Mom, please, can you change the station? My parents would be like, no, I'm not changing the station. They already had their hands full. One hand on the wheel, one on the cigarette. They weren't changing the station. So we just had to live with it. We just had to, okay, I'll hear it. And that's why I know the words to these songs, whether I like them or not. It's why I have an appreciation for country and for rap and for R&B and for hip hop and for rock and for harder rock, because we listen through it. And MTV did the same thing for us. Every video shown wasn't necessarily a song we liked, but it taught us to be eclectic. Hey, Cynthia, I hope things are okay out there in Florida. I hope you're braving any storm headed your way. Happy Sunday night, Amy. Hey, John from Maureen. Oh, shoot, it's going fast. I'm in Peter Noon's fan club. I lost it already. My husband hates Islands in the Stream. Guys, I'm doing my level best to keep up. Combined, we have a lot of people. And I appreciate you guys commenting and keeping it going. It's just hard. Going to see the Doobie Brothers. Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time. That was one I remember. Ouija board, Ouija board, Ouija board. Traveling anywhere with your folks is like listening to elevator music. Good and bad, right? And there was no turn it up. Because that's what drove my mother nuts. Every time a song we liked came on, we're like, Mom, can you turn this one up? And then turn this one up. And she was like, till when? Till when? I can't hear myself think. Hello from British Columbia, Canada. Glad to have you, Christy. Debbie, are you leaving us or just saying hello? If you're leaving, it's been great seeing you. I'm sorry you're leaving so early. My mom was into 70s classic rock, except back then it wasn't classic rock. It was just rock. Dad was into doo-wop. Hey, coming in from London. Good to see you. Got Hootie and Stone Temple Pilots in September. Very cool. They still play our music on the radio. They do. What they don't do is still play our videos on MTV. And I wish that would change. I think there's enough of us now. Hey, Pearl, good to see you coming in from the 716. I'll be headed your way August 22nd through the 25th. Should have a lead on a meet and greet location for when we're up in Buffalo. More to come on that shortly. Megadeth on the 23rd. Tina Turner. Miss Tina Turner. Wow, do I miss Tina Turner. That one hit hard. Some of my older friends, I've got some boomer followers, and they're like, hey, Tina Turner wasn't your generation. She was ours. She may have been one of your generation, but we grew up listening to her, so I felt that pretty hard. My mom worked for an entertainment lawyer when I was young, got exposed to all kinds of music. Very cool. Those, I see a couple people subbed over on Facebook. So logistically, on Facebook people, you guys are followers. You follow my page. I've got about 630,000 followers right now on Facebook. On YouTube, you guys are subscribers, and I have just under 80,000 subscribers. Both followers and subscribers are free. And I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys, and I thank you guys for continuing to follow and subscribe to my page. That said, on Facebook, if you choose to subscribe, then I think there's a monetary monthly charge, 99 cents or something along that line, and it gives you access to a private Facebook group that you can post in, and it's kind of cool. Those that do it have a really good time and enjoy posting in that group. And sometimes I'll take that stuff and I'll put it on my major page. Jeannie, who is a subscriber, and Sarah, who's a subscriber, say it's 99 cents. Over here, Marie, who is both, joined on YouTube. When you join on YouTube, it's just a way to say, hey, I want to help. I want to give a monetary donation every month, $1.99 or $2.99 or $99, and I appreciate it. In any case, whether you are a just follower or a subscriber, or someone who joins, I want to thank you guys, because sometimes I forget, and once people start leaving, I remember to thank you, and I wanted to do it now. And then on YouTube, sometimes people will do cash chats, and there's a lot to it. Best investment you can make. Thank you, Ronaldo. Outfield's Your Love, favorite song of all time. It's a good one. So there's that. So that's the music segment. We are now, what time is it? We've been on for almost a half hour. So there's that section of it. I really wanted to hit MTV kind of hard tonight because it's a huge part of my life, and I will continue to talk about it and hopefully get to a point someday where we can start touching back on it. One thing I want to do is, Rhoda, thank you. One thing I want to do is, we used to watch on VH1, I Love the 80s, if you guys remember that. I want to bring back a version of I Love the 80s with the commentary instead of being Wirehead. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. I want to bring back I Love the 80s and have it be influencers. So we pick a year. The year is 1984. And maybe it's Slim Sherry. Maybe it's Dad Bod Veteran. Maybe it's GenX Shell. And just start doing those things and talking about it and bringing us all in together. So we're really trying to collaborate. We're really trying to not be a bunch of individual influencers. God, I freaking hate that word. We want to work together because I think Gen X is all about being together. I think I will do some pop-up videos. You might see those. I did one a while back. I might do that. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention over on YouTube. So I'm just short. I'm about 8/10 of the way there. On the YouTube page from getting to the 100,000, which is a huge mark. So if you don't follow YouTube, if you don't subscribe to YouTube, to use the generalization that's correct for it, make sure you go and search Gen X Jono YouTube and go ahead and subscribe, because premiering this Friday night at 8 p.m., I am broadcasting the first long-form video that I've ever done. It is an actual episode of a television contest, television show. Think TLC, supermarket sweep, that sort of thing. It's called the Thrift Store Throwdown. And there is a creator by the name of Wimberly, who is a great Gen X era mom and creator. And she has the Relatable Mom over on Facebook. It's just Wimberly Early, I think, over on YouTube. But we did this thing where we met up because she's here in Charlotte as well, and we went to a local Goodwill. And we decided that we would do a contest. We had 20 minutes. We each had $20. And in that 20 minutes, with that $20, our mission was to go running through the Goodwill and see who could come up with the greatest Gen X era, 70s and 80s and 90s haul. T-shirts, electronics, pants, shorts, whatever we could find. Grab it, run through the store like lunatics. And I got to tell you, the fact that we weren't tossed out of the store just blows my mind. But I absolutely love the final product. And I hope it's something that I can invite more and more people to come along and stop by the Charlotte area and take part in it, because it can be different things every single week. One week we can have it be Gen X era stuff. Another week it could be Disney stuff we're looking for. Another week it could be music. It could be rock stars. It could be MTV. It could be anything. But yeah, if you search Gen X Jono, it'll bring you to my page, and I am trying to provide a link to my Facebook people. Bear with me momentarily. The heck? Sorry. Copy. And you guys probably could have done this faster than I'm doing it. Oh, for the love of God, I'm ready to say I give up. Just want to share. Copy link. What the hell was that? All right, here it comes. All right, that's posting, and it's probably going to go away. Oh, for the love of God. Pin. All right. Sorry about that. I will give you that time back. Facebook is just not the easiest platform to live stream on. We have over 725 comments, 300 reactions, thousands of people in and out. It's very, very, very difficult for Facebook to keep up with things. I'll continue to post lives on Facebook again, because I know some of you, that's your preferred channel. And I don't want to leave you behind. I don't want to leave you out. But YouTube is a much better streaming channel. I think the picture is clearer. I think it freezes less. Kristen, you do both. Michelle, you do both. Let me know what you all think. Thank you so much, Michelle. But honestly, Friday night, 8 p.m., I'm going to run it as a live broadcast, which means that there'll be a countdown, and then the show will premiere. And I'm actually going to be chatting during the first episode. Only runs about 15 minutes. A little bit more with ads, but I hope you guys love it, because I had a blast. Wimberly had a blast, and it was the first time I've actually tried to do more than the 1 minute at a time. Now, I know I talked to you guys for an hour at a time, but honestly, no pandering. This just feels like talking with friends. So I really, really, really just want an opportunity to create longer form content to see where it takes me. There are a couple commercials on YouTube. There's a couple commercials for it already on Facebook as well. Was I a Knight Rider, Airwolf, or Street Hawk fan? So, Knight Rider for sure. I think Alexa and Amazon are missing the boat huge. If Amazon would get together with whoever owns the rights to Knight Rider and create a version of Alexa for the car and call it Kit, they could take my money right now. Ronald, new subscriber, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Good to see you, man. About 20 minutes down the road from me. Unbelievable the fact that they have not come up with a kit for the car yet. I just want to be able to have Alexa capabilities, but have it be Kit's voice, have it be that little red thing, and I'd be all over it. So, huge Knight Rider fan. Know what's better than Knight Rider? Knight Rider in the Air, and that was basically Airwolf. The only thing Airwolf was missing was giving some sort of AI to the copter. That would have just been it. Sarah's on both sides right now. So I loved Airwolf as well. And then Street Hawk, who was Rex Hamilton. The fact that I even remember his first name is Rex blows my mind because he wasn't a huge star, and I can't believe I remember that. I didn't like it. Fall Guy Lee Majors. I have a major guy crush on Lee Majors. Going back to $6 Million Man, the guy was the dude. It would be like bucket list kind of dream to have a beer with Lee Majors. That would be awesome. Plus, he was married to Farrah fucking Fawcett, man. I mean, come on. I went to sleep underneath that poster for years. Hey, what's going on, Revel? Coming in from Belfast. Rex Smith. Yes, Cindy. You guys are the best. Rex Smith. Doreen said Rex Hamilton, but it's Rex Smith. But yeah, Lee Majors was amazing. Yes, Rex Smith, Colin. Exactly right. So yeah, everybody on Facebook that doesn't already follow me on YouTube, there's a pinned comment taking you to YouTube. You don't have to stay there, but please subscribe, because the only way to see the thrift store throwdown, because it's 15 minutes long and too long for a reel, is to push it over onto YouTube. Moonlighting is finally available on Tubi. Well, and it's funny that you bring up Tubi, because that's the end-all goal. So Tubi and Crackle. I want GenX to take over those platforms. We already have a lot of our old school programming on there. I want new programming that is geared towards us to be on those platforms. Because a lot of us, as good as we are with all things, just thought on the tube from the other side of Rock Hill. Awesome. I appreciate it. Listen, we're good with technology. People confuse us, and they confuse the younger boomers with older baby boomers and the silent gen, who weren't as good with technology. We grew up surrounded by technology. We were there from the get-go. We were the kids in the house that had to teach our parents how to use this new technology coming into the house. We were the ones that at daylight savings time would change the clocks on the VCR. We were the ones in grade school being introduced to computers for the first time and programming. And we learned how to be beta testers and be on Facebook and CompuServe and AOL and all of that stuff from the beginning. So we get tech. So I know we're comfortable on these platforms, YouTube and Facebook, TikTok for some, and Instagram for others. But I don't know about you guys. I still like sitting on my couch and watching TV, because for us, TV is a community experience, right? We grew up 8 o'clock, finally inside the house, one television, sitting with our siblings on the floor, parents on the couch, maybe Jiffy Pop in front of us. And TV was a communal experience where we watched together. And then we went to school in the morning and talked with our friends about what we saw in school in the morning. Hey, what's going on, Ronald? We got a lot of people from South Carolina in the house. Right down the road from me. I'm in Indian land. I see a lot of Rock Hill. But we watch television as a family. And then more to the point, the next day in school, that's what we talked about. Hey, did you see V last night? Did you see Robin had the babies? The lizard baby and the normal baby? You know, that was what was cool. Hey, Monopoly Mike from Fort Mill. So I want us to be on TV. And I think the easiest road for us to be on TV is to start to create programming for Crackle and Tubi and Freevee and all those. So that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal, to create programming that we can push out there. My BFF and I loved V. Oh, dude, V was the best. My awesome son just walked into the room and handed me a rum and, oh, dude, pass it over. San Antonio, Texas in the house. Good to see you. 2 from San Antonio. Christy, you got a neighbor there. V was a very big deal. V was a very big deal, and it was part of the big deal that was the miniseries. Because before we binge watched, kids and adults and people today, we will find the new series and we'll binge watch it. We'll watch it every night for like a week. Well, that's what a miniseries was. It came on and it was on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And we just sat and watched Roots all week, or V all week, or the Thornbirds all week. Hey, what's going on, Roman Perez? Good to see you, my friend. Andrew, I didn't see you walk in the house. Good to see you. Hello from Sullivan, Wisconsin. Good to see you, Jimmy, from Sullivan, Wisconsin. V, The Final Battle was awesome. The TV series I wasn't as thrilled with, but in absence of something better, I took it. It was okay. Sipping on a Malibu and orange juice. Solid Gold TV show was great. Also Fame. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Stand South Carolina. Hello from PA. Star Search. I always thought Star Search was funny. North and South I loved. Star Search was funny because it was kind of like our version of American Idol. Probably more America's Got Talent, because it could be a number of different things. Except it was America's Got Talent with a spokesmodel category for some strange, bizarre reason. Movie the day after about nuclear winter. I absolutely remember it. Yes, it was a great miniseries. Somebody else mentioned the Stand miniseries. I am 5 minutes from where they filmed Cocoon. Do you guys know that a lot of us are older than some of the people that were in Cocoon? Wilford Brimley specifically. He was like 49 when he filmed that movie. Donna says, sipping on lemonade, haven't had alcohol in 10 years. Good for you. I don't drink much. What's the poster in the background? Boom. The Goonies. Goonies never say die. Hello from California. In our house, we knew we had to be in bed by the time we heard the MASH theme song. My parents were never big on nighttime. Bedtime, I should say. As long as we weren't being annoying. So we always talk about Gen Xers being invisible. And if you watch any surveys, if you watch any statistical news, if you watch anything that tracks what's going on in the world generationally, we're always forgotten. And I think a lot of us learned how to be invisible at 10 o'clock at night, because that's when we got really quiet, hoping our parents would just leave us alone and not push us off to bed. I learned very early on that as long as I was quiet, as long as I didn't get into fights with my brothers, as long as I didn't whine about something, as long as I didn't complain about what was on TV, my parents would let us stay up. Now in my house, when the street lights came on, that's when we had to come in, but we didn't necessarily go to bed when the street lights came on. What's going on, Darren Jones? Good to see you, buddy. I seen a bumper sticker the other day and it said, Goonies never die. I love it, man. Did anybody else sleep listening to music? If my wife would let me, I still would. Neither seen nor heard. Agreed. Wirehead said, as soon as the news was over at night, the TV was shut off. That was it. You're right. Connie Chung, NBC News updates. I survived Jarts. Thank you for joining. Thank you guys. Appreciate it over on YouTube. Got a couple new joiners. Got a couple silent donations. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps me continue to make content. So thank you. I'm not being Sarah McLachlan pitching for puppies. I'm not saying anyone ever has to give anything, but for those that have, thank you. Solid Gold and Dance Fever. Yeah, and we never really had a bedtime, Jennifer. I know some friends did, but we looked at them as the parents that were strict. We were very much just hands off when it came to that. Our bedtime was the moment we annoyed our parents. We either had to go to bed when they went to bed, or we went to bed when we annoyed them too much. That was my bedtime. Cynthia says she had a bedtime. Kathy brings up the greatest American hero. Anna mentions Danny Terrio. Do you remember what? Here's for extra bonus points. Dance Fever. Danny Terrio had two women that were kind of his version of the Solid Gold dancers. They were his backup team. Does anybody, hey, Irish lover, what's going on? Does anybody remember, without looking, what Danny Terrio's backup singers on Dance Fever were called? I'm joined by, and he would say the word. Waiting for it. Waiting for it. No cheating. Thank you, Mary, for subscribing on YouTube. Appreciate it. Nobody? My memory's better than y'all's? I'm from Rochester. Actually, I grew up outside of Rochester, went to school at UB, lived in Buffalo for a very long time. Michelle, thank you so much. Not to be outdone by Wirehead. I love you guys. Not gold diggers. Diamonds and gold, no. All right, you guys don't know it. Gold diggers over here too. So Danny Terrio would always say, I am Danny Terrio. This is Dance Fever, and I am lovely gold diggers because so many people are saying it. But gold diggers, I think, was Solid Gold. On Dance Fever, it was Motion, I think. I could be wrong. Michelle, thank you so much. Jessica said I had no idea. Frightening Flickers at 11:30, late night horror movie. Diane and Jeanette? I don't think so, Rhoda. So yeah, here's the quiz. What band played in Paint Your Wagon? Patty Thompson wants to know what band played in Paint Your Wagon. I don't know what Paint Your Wagon is. 3 weeks to Buffalo. There's my buddy Mike. So over on YouTube, we have Hyde Park Ninjas. And he is a very good friend of mine. And he also happens to be from the 716, aka Buffalo, New York. Now, Hyde Park Ninjas is basically to the metaverse what I am to Gen X pop culture. Mike basically has owned property and real estate out there in the metaverse. And more importantly, beyond that, he is still very much a Toys R Us kid at heart because he is developing comic books and video games and doing amazing things that proves that Gen X will not age out of being tech savvy. So who all come into Buffalo, which is Val's question. Mike and I are both going to Buffalo in 3 weeks. We're going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now we've added Sunday night, August 22nd through the 25th. Going to be hitting the Elmwood Strip, going to be hitting Chippewa, going to be hitting downtown. We will have, Mike tells me, hopefully, at least one location on a meet and greet. And we're just going to be retracing our footsteps. If you guys ever wanted to go back to the 80s, go back to the 90s, go back to your 20s. Age is just a number, Mike says. It is just a number. If you ever wanted to go back and just kind of be that person you were in your 20s again for a little while, that's the fantasy, that's the wish, that's what Mike and I are going to do. So for those 4 days, we are going to follow the footsteps that we put down over 30 years ago as 20-something kids. We're going to go to the bars. We're going to check out the places that had the ladies' nights, the $5 cups that women could buy at the pier and drink free all night, while us idiot guys were paying twice as much on ladies' night just to be in the vicinity of the ladies. We're going to go back to the Mr. Good Bar, the bars that had 5-cent nickel drafts. You paid $5 or $10 at the door, and then you drank drafts until the keg blew for 5 cents a piece. We're going to go and see what's still there. We're going to go and see what's changed. We're going to go and see what's gone. We're going to talk to people. We're going to just see what it feels like. And I want to meet as many of you guys that are going to be in that area as possible. Christine asks if I'm going to go to the GenX thing in Nashville. I'm not. It's just the 4 that decided to do that are going to run with that. And we don't all do all the same things all the time, so no big deal. I'm just not particularly involved in that particular collaboration. So keep an eye on things. Mike, if you have any details on, a potential meet and greet, let me know. Did somebody else just donate 10? No, that was Michelle's. Okay, just wanted to make sure I remember to say thank you. I'm married to the boy next door, grew up together, so we go back to the 80s every day because we still treat each other like we're 16. I love that, Beth. For sakes, dude, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band played. Also, Lee Marvin in Paint Your Wagon. All right, that's a little before me, but I hear you. It's going to be a hangover. It's going to be a lot of hangovers. The Hangover 3. Wirehead, thank you for gifting memberships, dude. You are the best. Kristen, you are now a member gifted by Wirehead. So awesome. Challenge accepted. Take your pager. I'll 911 you. Do you guys remember? Yes, Anna. Motion. A little late to the club, but I thought that was right. Can't believe I remember that. Every now and then things come up in our brains that surprise the hell out of me. Thank you for supporting families with autism. Christina, I'm learning more and more every day. It's one of there's a couple things I want to use whatever little platform I have to help elevate awareness. Autism is one because I have friends that have been impacted by it. And the other one is prematurity because personally, our youngest daughter was a micro preemie. So in February, you'll see me do a lot of things around prematurity because the March of Dimes has its National Awareness Month, I think in February. So it's either February or March. March of Dimes. Could be March. Craving nostalgic candy, Garbage Pail Candy, original Popeye cigarettes. I've got, Brian says he's craving candy from the 80s. So let's see. I was gifted these in the mail by somebody, and it's basically throwback candy. This is throwback candy from the 70s, and Carolina Home Inspection. Welcome, buddy. Thank you for becoming a member and joining. And for Facebook, it's a VHS tape, and it's 1980s rewind candy. So let's go through. For those that are a little older, Michelle, thank you. Guys, I appreciate you guys so much. This is the 70s candy, for those that might be interested. Atomic Fireball, Bazooka Gum, Bit of Honey, and these are all in here. And for some reason, somehow, even though it's only the box that I need, I've not opened this up yet. I don't know what's wrong with me. Blow Pops, Candy Necklace, Laffy Taffy, Mike and Ike's, Now and Later's, Pixie Sticks are in here. How have I not opened this up yet? And does this all hit you as 70s? I thought some of this stuff was after the 70s, but okay. Smarties, Tootsie Rolls, Zots. Don't know what Zots are. And then it has a disclaimer that the candies may vary. So that's 70s throwback candy. Paul Gugasberg. My niece had autism, so for that, remember ABC's TGIF lineup. Oh, dude, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Tina Borelli, thank you so much. Yeah, guys, honestly, I'm going to keep wearing shirts, talking about it, posting to my page. I don't know how I haven't opened it up yet, Stacy, but it is what it is. All right, in the 80s, I see there's some repetition here. Not happy about that. I kind of wanted it to be separate, but once again, we see Blow Pops. Once again, we see candy necklaces. And then there's something called Crybaby, which has sugar, dextrose, corn syrup, sounds like everything else we ate, gum-based citric acid, tapioca dexitrin. That doesn't sound appealing. Cornstarch, artificial flavors. It sounds like everything else we ever had. Does anybody know what Crybabies are? Why that says Pixie Sticks? Yes, please. Zots were like hard gummies. Okay. So, all right. Crybabies, last call. I don't see it. Dude, Yvonne, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys so much. What I'm thanking them for is YouTube allows you to, I'm a bartender, so I'm going to use the word tip. And people are tipping, and I really appreciate it because it just, I cut back hours in order to do more content. My choice, but every little bit helps me continue to make content. And I will say I've never been happier or felt more blessed in my entire life to be able to do what I'm doing. Jawbreakers. No, I'm sorry. I said Jawbreakers, but this says Jawbusters. Didn't know Jawbusters was a thing. Does that ring true with you guys, or is that a Mandela effect? Jawbusters. No clue. Jolly Rancher. Laffy Taffy again. Lemon Heads, which I thought was 90s, but okay. Red Hot. I saw somebody mention it before. It is here. Crybaby is the precursor to Sour Patch Kids. All right. Skittles. Might surprise you all to know that Skittles have been around since the 80s. Dorinda, thank you. Irish Lover, dude, Mists, thank you. Skittles, Sour Power. And then finally Zots again. So yeah, I have not broken into them for some reason. I love the packaging. Packaging is pretty damn cool. So that's what that is. Had these now for a couple of weeks. If you want to know, I think I got these at Five Below. And they cost $5. So not bad. For those keeping track, we still have not busted open the MD 2020 yet. My friend Patrick donated this to me. Tanya, thank you so much. $2.99. Guys, you're the best. Please do not feel that you have to do that every week or at all. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love Five Below too. Great t-shirts too. Sweetheart Pops. Lola's, I don't remember, Maggie. Lisa, I do remember Boston Baked Beans. Kristen Suave, welcome to the Gen Xers. Thanks to Wirehead. Bridget, thank you. I love the half hour, half sweet pods. J&E, welcome to the honorary Xers. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, we talked about Buffalo. I hope some of you guys will be able to make it. I'm looking forward to it. Back when I went to Disney 3 weeks ago, Mark says open that MD. Maybe next week. Maybe next week, that's what we'll do. I could not get over how many people recognized me. Some because I was wearing the hat and they saw me with the Bills hat. Some without it, just recognized me. It literally blew my mind that people recognized me. Janie, thank you for that. And that's the goal, to bring back memories. Took the weekend off to go to Buffalo. Dude, that's awesome, Wire. Actually got for those that are in upstate New York, that are in that part of New York or even Canada, Rochester, I know, has one. Mighty Taco reached out to me. They're sending me a 50th anniversary shirt to celebrate my return to Buffalo. So I was really psyched by that. Tina Burrell, the eyes. Bartles and James, I remember it well. What was the Disney in the summer is the only time we can do it, Kevin, because we still have kids in school. Thank you for supporting autism, close to my heart. I will continue to keep talking about it. Donna, how are you? Good to see you. Here's the question. It might just be beer. It might just be Dad's vodka. But what is the first alcoholic drink you remember not tasting, not sipping, not trying? What is the first liquor, shot, alcohol that you remember abusing the hell out of? And it can't be I just took a sip out of my dad's vodka. It had to be I finished the bottle of vodka and threw my guts up. For me, it would be my father's ouzo, which actually was a moonshine version of Greek ouzo called tsiporo. And I did finish like almost the entire bottle, and I threw up all over the house. Black Velvet says Melissa. Angela coming in with scotch. Usually it's sweeter. I see Rumplemints. I see Seagrams. I see White Lightning, Peach Schnapps, Bush Beer, Zima. Boone's Farm is a popular one. Strawberry. Because a lot of the time it was, Snake Bites, which is Yukon and lime juice. Bushmills. Sambuca. Sambuca and Ouzo, very similar. Tequila, 9 shots in 1 hour. Kamikazes, which are vodka, triple sec, and lime juice. My grandpa's moonshine. I remember it being the sweet stuff for me. Yes, my dad's ouzo, but that was more along the lines of proximity. It was there, so I drank it. As far as being responsible for getting my own, it would be the schnapps. Gene says peppermint schnapps. It was peach schnapps. Amaretto and Coke, I drank till it was coming out of my nose. When I got older, to Christine's point, Goldschlager, Rumplemints, still sweet, still tasted good, but instead of being weak stuff that we drank an entire bottle of, it was strong-ass stuff that only took 2 or 3 shots to put us over. Chris Cunningham with Boone's Farm. Goldschlager again. Snake Bites. Apple juice? Ouzo. Bike, thank you so much. Welcome to the club. Any political comments, whether they're good causes politically or not, I'm going to bump. Really done. Black Velvet. God, do they even sell Black Velvet anymore? Southern Comfort and Lime was a big one. Slow Gin was a big one. Kevin comes back with the Jungle Juice. I see you wearing Cubs hat all the time. How are you now watching the Cubs card games right now? Because I think it's over. Because the Cubs just have broke my heart again this year. I know statistically there's like a 2% chance we might make the playoffs, and I'll jump back on if we do. But the odds of missing you guys trumps the odds of them doing anything. I'll watch it on replay. My wife's taping it for me. Southern Comfort, still can't drink it again. I can't smell Southern Comfort. Irish comes in with Jameson Irish whiskey. I don't remember Jameson being a big deal in the 80s. I know in the 90s it became a big deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like when I was legal, when I was 21, that would be Jameson. I remember that then. But as far as being illegal, paying I'm going to say the word bum because that's what we called them back then, paying the bum on the street to go into the store and buy us liquor where like you can keep the change, that stuff was never like a Jameson. Then it was about cheap. Then it was Irish Rose. Then it was Boone's Farm. Then it was just whatever we could get our hands on. Did you just say taping it? Yeah, Tyler, I probably did. We're DVRing it. Is that the right term? We still tape things in this house. Confused the hell out of my kids when I first said it. Now they say it. Do I remember the Kool-Aid Man? Of course I remember the Kool-Aid Man. Here's your Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah. I love stuff. Now, I don't have a lot of money, but I have what I affectionately like to term by thank you. Thank you so much. Adult money. We're adult money. We are adults now that have some adult money and still have childhood dreams. My bucket list is to get everything I ever circled in a darn Sears catalog that my parents never were able to get for me. No hate. They got me what I needed. They just didn't always get us what we wanted. And I am systematically going through little by little, if the money's right, more often than not in thrift stores, just picking up stuff that I always wanted as a kid. On my list, I want a Millennium Falcon. Good question. The next question I'll ask you guys, what toy did you, I'm screaming. Sorry, I'm excited. Stretch Armstrong was one I always wanted and never got. What toy was there? My Pomerated hand is obsessed with watching you. Pomerated hand? I don't know what that is. What toy did you want that you never got? Number one on my list is absolutely the Millennium Falcon. Oh, my Pomeranian is obsessed with watching you. Okay. Yeah, it's something about your hand. I'm like, I don't know what your hand's doing to me, but don't stop it. I never had a Stretch Armstrong. I wanted one. My friends had one. We sliced him open, gutted him like a pig because we needed to see what was inside him. That was fun. Cabbage Patch doll, says Kristen. Yeah, finding a Millennium Falcon is going to be tough, but I refuse to spend the kind of money that they cost to get one now. I don't want the pretend ones. They have little ones now. No, I want the vintage one. I do remember Century's toy catalog. A brand new big wheel $6 million man action figure I had. I love that thing. You can look through the eye and have a bionic eye with it. Optimus Prime, Barbie Dreamhouse, probably a big one. Forgot about Stretch Monster. Kevin says G.I. Joe Sky Striker. China cabinet is full of Barbies. Motorized motorcycle. Silly Putty. We bought Silly Putty. Like Silly Putty and Slinky was the two things that we just kept buying because you'd always lose it. Or, your mom would be out and you'd find out that the Silly Putty got in the rug. Does anybody have memories of trying to cut Silly Putty out of a rug? My husband wants a lightsaber and a jetpack. Lori, I will tell you, I made 2 videos with the jetpack, with Rocket Man, with the Jetpack Man. Going back to the late 60s, we had jetpack technology. And the person that flew at the Olympics, that flew in a lot of the television shows we watched, his daughter reached out to me and said that they had seen the videos. And I thought that was really cool. Play-Doh was banished from our house. Barbie Dream Pool. Polly Pocket. Red Ryder, BB gun. Watch out, kids. You'll put an eye out. Balsa Wood Planes, just like, oh, that's a good list. Toys that we kept buying over and over and over again. Silly Putty, bought it over and over and over again. Slinky, and I'm not talking plastic Slinky. Anybody that got a plastic Slinky, it's trash. It's garbage. Yes, they didn't tangle, but they were garbage. And then the Balsa Planes, because they kept breaking, so we just kept buying them. Pez, Nerf footballs. Oh, dude, Canetta, it would absolutely go on the shag carpet, but the shag carpet was better because at least you could cut away and it didn't quite show. Shrinky Dinks. Do I remember getting paper dolls? I don't. You do. Castle Grayskull would have been cool. Melissa Hall says yo-yo. I remember getting a free yo-yo to school assembly. I think it was Duncan sent people out to schools. Genius. And they would show them the tricks in school assemblies, and then everybody got a coupon and a cheap yo-yo. You got plastic single. Sue Ditmore is a liar. She's telling us she got plastic Slinkies tangled. It's impossible. Special Child. Lawn Darts. Light Bright. Connect 4. I had Castle Grayskull. I would have liked Castle Grayskull. Shrunken Heads. Rubik's Cube I got right here. It was a gift. Sup? Good to see you, brother. Sister. Can't read the writing. Too small. Color Forms. I loved Color Forms, Stacy. Do you guys remember Color Forms? I specifically remember a Spider-Man set of Color Forms. And there was like this plastic background and you could put different versions of the characters and create storyboards. I forgot about that. My first radio is Play School Karaoke. I wish I still had my clackers. Do you guys know, I see Light Bright a lot. The original version of Light Bright, get ready for this. If this doesn't tell you what it was like growing up Gen X, I don't know what does. The original version of Light Bright on the packaging said light bulb not included. Now imagine bad enough that batteries were never included because, that was just, you would open up Christmas morning, you'd open up the few gifts you got that were toys, and there'd be no batteries in the house, so you couldn't play with them. But imagine getting an actual light bright, and not only would batteries not be included, I think that one got plugged in, no light bulb included. And the bulbs would blow. They would. Love my Weebles wobble. Planet of the Apes color form. So that's cool. Easy Bake Oven, says Chris. And Kenny. That was a big one. That was really, really, really popular and expensive. And apparently the earliest models would almost get up to like it almost got as hot as an actual oven. Lots of burns. Yes, Irish Lover. The Seinfeld episode of The Girl with the Best Toys. I loved that one. And she had an Easy Bake Oven. We got Pong, who had a Skip It. Our neighbors had a lemon Skip It. Shrinky Dink, Stretch Again. Remember the Underoos? I just did a video. If you look back at my most recent video on all platforms, it features Underoos. No, I'm not wearing them. Although that would have been a good video. My wife always says, one way or another, I'll find a way to cancel myself. She's like, yeah, you think some things are funny that aren't quite as funny as you think they are, and eventually you'll find a way to cancel yourself. Me making a video of me in Underoos probably would do it. Big Wheel was amazing. Pogo Stick, I never understood Pogo Stick. I could never get it to work. Just never worked for me. I tried. It just didn't work. Pick Up Sticks. GoBots, Kevin? Really? GoBots? I don't know. If I took a poll, how many of you guys would be Transformers and how many of you would be GoBots? I think GoBots were trash. No offense. True point. GenX doesn't cancel shit. Me and Underoos could do it, though. The Calgon bath was hilarious. I expected that one to do better. Me in a bathtub with bubbles? I mean, come on. Pogo Ball, Eli, I could do better with. It's just the Pogo Stick never worked. Two toys that I bought or used that never worked as advertised. Three. I'll give you a third one. Number one is the Pogo Stick. Aside from just bashing my shins to pieces, falling onto hard pavement, hurting myself, the Pogo Stick was trash. Never worked. It was a horrible thing. Pete, I see your Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and I got them right up there. Number two, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, things that didn't work. The boomerang. When we got the movies with that Australian dude, what was his name? Everybody wanted a boomerang. We're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And I remember buying like different kinds of boomerangs. There was the classic Crocodile Dundee. There were the classic wooden boomerangs, and they never came back to me. And then there was the one that was a different shape that was supposed to be better. So we bought that. That never came back to me. Paul Hogan, absolutely, Crocodile Dundee. So those never worked. If you guys got a boomerang to come back to you and it actually didn't decapitate you and instead you caught it, more power to you. Never worked for me. And then finally, fucking sea monkeys. The amount of money I wasted on sea monkeys. Thank you, Holly. Probably 3, 4, maybe 5 different times I fell for sea monkeys because I wasn't allowed to have a pet in the house growing up. You can feel sorry for me. My mom and dad both worked at the restaurant. They just didn't want to deal with a pet. So I thought I could have sea monkeys because the cartoon on the comic book said that you could teach them tricks and that they were like pets you raise yourself. So every time I bought the damn things, it was like sprinkling dust on water. They never did anything. It was my first lesson in not trusting marketing. And I got to tell you, from that point on, it taught me. I think a big part of the reason Gen Xers are so hard to sell to is because of sea monkeys. We caught our own pets. I did bring home dogs more than a few times, but they kept getting sent back. Maybe it was you, not the boomerang. It is possible. I didn't attract much. Magic Sand. We were bamboozled, Susan. Pet Rock, my parents would not allow. Denise White, good to see you. Does anyone remember the tube of stuff that had a little... I don't know what else that said. I do remember the tube of stuff that we would blow super plastic. What was it? Super plastic, fantastic magic bubbles or something like that. I think that's probably what you're talking about. Super elastic bubble plastic. Somebody just said it. Yeah, that was cool. We were basically inhaling petroleum, though. Those bubbles were found to be very toxic in its earliest conglomeration, which, again, makes perfect and total sense. Super plastic bubbles. Yeah, we were poisoning ourselves with a petroleum product. My mom threw a pet rock at me. Bowling with my pals. Let's go Buffalo. My mom wouldn't allow me to even spend my own money on pet rocks. She's like, you're not paying money for a rock. It's just not happening. Even if it was my money, it was not allowed. Hunting for things that chia seeds would grow on. Sniffing airplane glue. That was exactly it. And it smelled good. It does explain a lot. Magic rocks. What was that solution? Both sides just mentioned magic rocks. Yeah, Sue Ditmore. This falls under the stuff we saw in comic books, right? There'd be the page with the x-ray glasses, with the Charles Atlas that would make us big because the kid got sand kicked in his face. Those were great ads. I made my own pet rock. Ever have a wooden pocket knife? Not a wooden pocket knife, but I had a pocket knife. Is Buffalo still a team? Just me. I will boot your ass, I promise. Lawn darts were awesome. Cardboard submarine from comic books. Yeah, I forgot about the cardboard submarine. How about the plastic submarine that you would put the baking soda in from Captain Crunch box? Because that takes us to an entire other range of toys, and that's the ones we found in our cereal box. I've done videos on, and I continue to believe that this world took a left turn, that this world really went in the wrong direction the moment we stopped putting free toys in cereal boxes. That was the beginning of the end for me, because there was nothing like selecting what cereal you wanted, no matter how badly it tasted, strictly based on what toy was in it, or even what record was on the back of it. But they stopped doing it because it became a choking hazard. Kids growing up after us were too stupid to be trusted not to eat toys. Model cars to build. I was never a big model car guy, but I do remember as a guy, if you invited other boys to your birthday party, you stood a better than even chance of them getting you a model for the birthday present. That was just the way it was. The little octopus that climbed down the wall. The records on cereal boxes. Absolutely. Sheila Burns Bug, how are you? Good to see you. Those are all classic. Yeah, too many lawsuits. I'm sorry. If your kid's too dumb to not know that they shouldn't be eating toys that are included in a cereal box, you need not to be gifted with money. Sorry. That's Uncle Darwin doing what he does. That's too harsh. I don't know. I'm not apologizing. I said what I said. Still have the whistle. What is my name? You found the page, dude. Crackerjack tattoos. My mother put an end to Crackerjack tattoos. Remember the myth that went around at one point saying that people were putting LSD on those tattoos? And it might have happened somewhere. Exactly, Pearl. But there was a myth, a rumor that went around that said, that they were putting LSD on the tattoos, and then us kids would lick them in order to get them on our arms and then go on an acid trip. Darwin Awards are my favorite, Kimberly. LSD tattoos. Yeah, I mean, bring them back. I don't know that it ever actually happened. How long have I been bartending, Brian Good says. So I grew up in a very small town, literally a one traffic light town, and my parents owned a diner and eventually also put a bar in next to the diner when I was about 16. And if you know anything about Greek families, their kids work, and the kids work in the family businesses. So at 16, I was bar backing while my older brother, who was 20, was bartending. And I just started bartending while I was working. I mean, everybody in that town knew everybody else, so I'd be behind the bar, and they'd be like, Johnny, grab me a Jenny. So I'd go grab a Jenny Light. And then it'd be, you're not supposed to be doing that. I'm like, okay. But then somebody else would ask me to do something. So eventually I just started bartending. It's like 17. Bye, Levon. Good to see you, man. So I've been bartending a very long time. We were told people were going to drug us, but I never received any for free. Didn't you have good friends? Frankenberry Cow Chocolate, love it. They come back out around Halloween. Can't wait. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, accurate representation or schlock? A little bit of both. I will say it was fairly, very accurate for a lot of the stuff there. The Windex is the one I keep getting asked on. We didn't actually use Windex, but there is a Greek solution made out of ammonia and a couple other different things that is in fact blue that we would use on stuff. So yeah, it was pretty real. Johnny, get me a Black Label beer. Appreciate that, Jeff Z. All right, guys, listen, I have gone on about 15 minutes longer than I intended to. And too much of a good thing, especially too much of me, is never a good thing, is what I meant to say. Rachel, thank you so much. I'll end the way I always do. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day, time away from whatever it is you guys do to come together and remember what it was like being kids in the 70s and the 80s and in the 90s. A time when we could disagree and still get along, where we didn't necessarily think half the country was evil because we didn't agree with what they felt or what they thought. An era where we didn't cancel one another and where we could disagree and still love each other. An era that was fun and dangerous and cool and totally awesome, totally rad, totally tubular. I want to thank you guys for the gifts. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for donating. Thank you guys for supporting my dreams and everything I do. And I hope that in some small way, I managed to give back to you guys with every video, with every broadcast, one way or another. I'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Chris, thank you so much. And we'll do it all again. Keep watching, keep following, keep sharing. And if you guys are sending messages my way, know I'm doing my every bit best to keep up. There's just more of you than there are of me, and I can't always respond. Have a good night. Have an even better week. And remember that when it comes to all things, be the change you want to see. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys on the flip side. Stay rad, everybody.